Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Steambudds podcast. I'm NWR Films.
And I'm Thomas and James. Welcome back.
And today welcome back. And today we will be doing a Christmas-themed episode where we will be talking about 11 Thomas Christmas episodes that we've watched and we are going to be discussing now.
Yes, our Oliver's 11. That was a bad reference. That
was a good reference. It was a really good reference.
All right.
So,
well,
let's start off by talking about the first episode we decided to discuss, which is Thomas and Percy's Christmas Adventure, which is also known as Thomas and Percy's Mountain Adventure for the North American viewers and New Zealand viewers.
Really?
So, yeah.
But what do you have to say about Thomas and Percy's Christmas Adventure?
Honestly, I really liked this one, despite the fact that it was horrendously bastardized and turned into a Thanksgiving episode for
I read that.
Americans.
I read that. That was really funny to read.
I do really like this episode. I think the dynamic between Thomas and Percy are really good. It's really well done. And I think for this is a really good season finale. Only problem is that it only takes place on Thomas's branch line, so it doesn't really utilize all the characters. But I do really like this episode. I think the Christmas themes are very good. I like some of the dialogue scenes in this. I like how Thomas has lots of friends in the mountain village. I like his little interaction with Percy near the ending where they discuss Santa Claus. That's a really nice little scene.
Which they cut out for those fat Americans.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I really like the scene where the villagers ask Toby to help them throw a surprise for the other engines. I think that's really nice. Overall, I do really like this episode. I think it's a really solid Christmas episode.
Although I agree with you that it would have been more fun if they had utilized a wider range of characters by extending it to more parts of Sodor, I think you should more or less see this as a branch line Christmas episode.
I'm just pointing out that season 3 is one of the biggest seasons in the show with so many characters, and I think having the main cast of the episode be the branch line engines when season 1 already had that, it feels kind of like
reusing the same idea.
Yeah, like Thomas's Christmas Party is a very similar episode to this, and while I do prefer this one because it has the nice season 3 aesthetics and stuff, I'm not going to deny the fact that I would have preferred something more ensemble than just the Farquhar cast.
Maybe this would have been better as a filler episode and then have a bigger finale Christmas episode. This is a good episode.
The thing is, this one is really good. This is still a really good Christmas episode. It works well as a season finale. I'm just saying I would have preferred something a little bit more ensemble.
Also, it has a sexy James shot, so it beats out all the other episodes immediately.
It does.
That shot of
James.
Shot. Also, I noticed that Harold hits someone in the head when he drops the crates.
He did.
So there's a bit of brain injury. It's always good for an episode.
It's always nice. And I also have a lot of nostalgia for this story. Not the episode, but the story, because I used to have the book that adapted this episode. And I remember I really liked it. I still have that book somewhere. I don't know where.
Probably in the deep crevices of the basement.
Probably.
Probably. Also, this episode has shit audio.
In the US narration.
No, also in the UK version.
Yeah, but that's with all the last 8 episodes.
Okay.
No, I think 10. Last 10 episodes. They all have shit audio.
Do you know why that is, or is it literally just a mystery?
Well, it's because, season 3 was split in 2. And
yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't know why that would affect the audio, but, at least the season 3B episodes were, rushed or something. And so the audio was, shit.
Well, that's sad. Anyway, let's go to the next episode.
The next episode is from season 6, and it is 6. It's Only Snow.
It's Only Snow.
Now, this is another, really solid episode. It's not very, a lot. It isn't really Christmas-themed, but it does have, Christmas tree and stuff, so it counts. But honestly, I really like this episode. I think this is a really
It's
solid.
really good.
It's a really solid Thomas Winter story. I think this is one of my favorite Thomas Winter stories ever. That is like about Thomas. I think it beats out episodes like Thomas, Emily, and the Snowplow and No Snow for Thomas. Because I just think this one is like a really solid, and it shows Thomas's determination, but also his hatred for the Snowplow. And I just really like it. I think this is a really good episode.
One thing I still do not understand about this episode, and I know this is not really story, but kind of, it's Thomas's different plow. Like in the seasons before, he has his blue plow, if I'm correct, and in season 7 he has his blue plow. But in this specific episode, it's a one-off plow, which we only see once. And I was very confused by it, but then I looked on the wiki, and apparently, in the original story, it was a different plow because Thomas's plow was, I think, being repaired. Thomas would struggle. Yeah,
Maybe.
Thomas asking Sir Topham had for a snowplow his size, with Sir Topham had saying that he must make do with his current one.
Yeah. But honestly, I kind of like it because it gives the idea that maybe this is like an older version of Thomas's snowplow. And so, for this one, while his new plow was being mended, this old one had to be fitted onto him, and that's why they had to have all this equipment and stuff. And it's like, this is like the first time in like 20 years this plow has been used and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why Thomas hates this one specifically so much.
More than his usual one.
Yeah, I mean, look at that thing. Like, it's
awful.
It has had a
It's
very
really-
quick patch job.
It's really
you can
cool.
see parts where they just bolted on some extra metal to keep it on, to keep it like straight and stuff. You can see this plow is obviously very old, and it's not the same as his like regular plow.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the plow never appears again.
Nope. On the
I like-
take-along toy, they used it on the take-along toy. I don't know why, but they used that
that's
one.
a toy. And because it was based on this episode.
Oh, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
Duh.
Big,
But
horrid,
yeah.
awkward thing.
Other
That's
things I
what she
like
said.
about this episode is the opening, where all the engines are at Knapford, and you have like Edward like being the wise engine, James complaining, and then Henry teasing Thomas, which is something I'll get. Henry and Thomas's dynamic is something I want to get back to when we talk about another episode on this list. But I really like that little scene. Now, obviously, I think it's pretty, like, snow doesn't work that way in this episode. You can't just push through it, but I'm willing to lend my suspension of disbelief for this episode because I do really like it. I think it's a really solid Christmas episode, and I think it's a really solid Thomas episode in general.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, Thomas does not get stuck even though he literally pushes into mountains of snow. Huh.
Anyway, that's all I have to say for It's Only Snow.
Yeah, I don't have a lot either.
Honestly, it's a little bit of a strange title. I don't know why it's called It's Only Snow, when it should be something like Thomas and his snowplow or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Anyway, the next episode we have to
Thomas
talk about is from
destroys
season
water
7.
tower. Snow Engine. Now, Snow
Yeah.
Engine is an episode I really, really like. I like the I like the dynamic between Toad and Oliver more than usual.
Yeah.
Just because there is this. What am I saying actually? I was prepared for this. Preparation has gone out of the window.
Well, I definitely really liked this episode. I think this might be my favorite Oliver story. Oliver Owens obviously is also a really good one, but the thing I like about this one is that it actually adds us something more and deeper to Oliver's character, which is the fact that he hates snow. Which, there could be a plethora of reasons for it. I like to think that when he was working on the British railways, he was left out in the cold sidings and stuff.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And grew a hatred of snow, while Toad was like in the carriage shed or something and loving it, having a little Christmas tree. But yeah, I really like this story. I think it's a really solid Oliver and Toad story. Like what you were going to say, I really like the dynamic between between Oliver and Toad in this, with Toad really liking snow, while Oliver not so much. He doesn't really enjoy the snow, but Toad tries to convince Oliver, tries to give Oliver like this little like hope for snow, and like snow isn't so bad, Mr. Oliver and stuff, and I really like that.
And
I like
it does
how Toad
work.
tries to push Oliver.
He ends up kind of liking it.
He does.
Yeah, still confused about how Toad got into that position, though.
Well,
Like, he
Toad
was-
Toad just does that sort of thing sometimes. Like in
Toad-
Busy Going Backwards, when Toad lands into the ditch, he kind of like lifts upwards slightly. And I just like the idea that Toad just has this like supernatural.
He just has telekinesis. He can just move things.
Yeah, he just
can
has this little supernatural abilities that allows him to do these weird little things, like lifting, being a little bit lifted up from the little pool of mud, sliding next to Oliver. Yeah, that's just some Toad things. I don't know what Toad does, but like I think we should just accept it and not question it.
Well, yeah, maybe that's for the best.
Yeah.
Also the cat. I really enjoyed
Yeah, the little
the
scene
meow.
with the cat. And I really like the UK dub where Michelangelo's just goes meow.
Meow. Yeah,
And that's nice.
that's my favorite scene from the episode.
Also, this is something that I only noticed on this latest rewatch, but when Oliver's out in the snow and his driver goes to the little hut or inn, I don't know, but the theme that plays, is that like Oliver's theme, just like remixed with like more classical winter instrument stuff? I don't know exactly know, but it sounds like Oliver's theme, like the classic do 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 do.
I did not
I don't
notice
know.
that. I more noticed Gordon's theme, but that was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing that really bugs me. Like this episode would have been perfect, but I don't know why they played Gordon's theme there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
something
really out of place in this episode.
very.
Very. Also, how did the children make such a big snowman? Like, how? How did it not fall over?
They probably had help from the adults. I'm guessing.
Dude, adults are not. What's supporting that thing?
Snow.
Jesus Christ.
Also, this is Duck's only like significant appearance in season 7, and he doesn't even fucking speak.
Wasn't he also in the crash with Arthur, or was that season 6?
I'm saying this is his most significant appearance, and he
Oh.
doesn't fucking speak.
Does
But
he even
one thing
speak
I-
in season 7?
He doesn't.
Oh. Poor Duck.
One thing I really like is that when Duck arrives with the brake entrance, you can see him having his smiling face on, and he's clearly laughing at Oliver, like, "Oh my Oliver, look at you." But Oliver doesn't mind. He's just chilling with the children as a snowman and stuff, and he's just enjoying life really. So that's a little thing that I liked.
Honestly, if you think about Oliver's character, he would probably be very, very annoyed with Duck in that moment, but he's ignoring it to the best of his abilities to stay smiling, so he doesn't cuss in front of children.
Well, honestly, I just think Oliver's just too busy being happy and doesn't notice Duck.
I'm thinking
I'm
way
guessing
too
Duck-
much about this.
I'm guessing Duck gave a passing comment, but Oliver just doesn't care. He's too busy like
Yeah.
looking at Toad, and Toad is like dying. So
Yeah, Toad does definitely have PTSD now.
oh yeah.
Oh yes, Toad's PTSD. That would be a movie. Anything else about this episode?
No, nothing more I can say. And just a really solid Oliver and Toad story.
We are really empty with classic series episodes. Wow. Well then, the next one. Thomas and the Toy Shop.
Now this
Or
one is
Thomas
interesting
and
because
the Toy Workshop.
But this one is interesting because while it doesn't do anything significant, there's one thing that I do really like about this episode. So this will probably be short, but the one thing I like is how it touches on Thomas and Henry's dynamic, because I feel like their dynamic is more like a little brother, big brother, like a relationship with them. Like Henry's clearly like the older brother who moved out a long time ago,
Who
while
moved
Thomas
out?
is this, yeah. like Henry clearly like cares about Thomas, but he has a hard time like showing it, and it often he often shows it by just grunting and being like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff." And that's why I really like the little teasing moment in It's Only Snow, because I feel like that's a little bit of a showcase on their dynamic, because I think Henry does respect Thomas a little bit, and I think Thomas respects Henry, but they kind of both have other problems going on, and they're not like really important in both of their lives and stuff. So it's always nice to see them interact, because I think Thomas and Henry are those who interact. Like, out of all the main cast, Henry is the one that Thomas interacts the least with, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I can't think
So I
of
just
anything
really
else
like-
he doesn't really interact with.
I just really like the moments in this episode with Thomas and Henry, because I feel like that's a dynamic that not a lot of episodes touch on. Also, the ending with where you see the Tank Engine Tomas again illustration in the toy shop. That's a really nice detail.
That's always great to see. Also, winter holiday season.
Yeah,
The winter holiday season had arrived.
thank God they changed that.
Oh, I'm so
in,
glad they
season
changed it.
15. Also, Cranky has a speaking line in this episode.
Oh, that's banger.
Wait, let me double check, because I think this is the only time in season 9 where Annie and Clarabelle speak.
Is it?
Yeah, Annie and Clarabelle's only speaking role and their last speaking role until season 11. So they didn't.
Didn't speak in
say shit
season 10?
In season 10.
Wow.
And they didn't speak in season 12 either.
City of Churro has a picture cameo. Where? Where is this picture cameo?
Let me actually look.
Is it also in the shop window?
Check.
Maybe at the station as like a poster.
Yeah, that's normally how it works. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's all I have to say about Thomas and the toy shop. Do you have anything?
Oh, the only other thing I have is the crate at Brendam Docks. Like, this is I think that's one of the most plot convenienced things ever in the series, because Henry could just back up, change tracks, and take the presents. Like, I get it. It's the hit era, but I think they could have made it a bit more interesting. Like, you could have had that the crate was dropped on top of Henry. That would have made that a bit more significant. But the fact that he is just up and running like half an hour later and just comes up beside someone's like, "Hey, are you alright? I don't think you can take this all." Like, that's the only thing I'm like...
Then again, the shot of Thomas rolling up beside Henry and seeing the crate, that does look pretty cool in my opinion.
Oh, it is a cool shot. I'm just like, they could have handled this a bit differently.
Wait,
in my
the breakdown
opinion.
train is right next to Thomas. What the fuck?
Exactly. The season 1 breakdown train is next to Thomas. And how does it take so long to clean a crate? Cranky is there. Big Mickey is there. It could have been fixed so easily, but nope. No, Henry, I know you can puff backwards, but I'll take all of your trains. I can handle this. No problem.
Yeah, well, that's all I have to say for Thomas and the toy shop.
Yeah. I have nothing else as well. I do really like the shot where Thomas just glides down the hill. That's a beautiful shot.
That is a pretty nice shot.
Well, next episode. Now we're going into the dark territory. Merry Misty Island.
Yeah. Now, this one is interesting because it's on the verge of being good, but then they just fuck it up. Because I think the concept for this episode is really good. You have these foreigners, Bastash and Ferdinand, who doesn't understand how Christmas works, and then they want to try and make Christmas for themselves. And I honestly think that's a really nice concept. The idea that you can take the inspiration from something like Christmas and then remake it yourself.
True,
And try and
it's
do
really
something
good.
else. But the problem is, then, all of these other engines come up to them and says like, hey, that's wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing Christmas wrong. It fucking sucks. And I think that's kind of that part I don't really like. I like the idea of Bastash and Ferdinand making their own type of Christmas, because Christmas is celebrated differently all over the world.
That is
and
very
stuff.
true.
So I think the idea that Bastash and Ferdinand have their own way of celebrating Christmas by taking inspiration from the others, that's a really neat idea, and kind of imitates the real world. But I don't like how all of these British steam engines tell these foreigners, hey, you're doing it wrong. You can't have your own culture. You have to follow our culture and stuff. And so it just turns into like, oh, they just celebrate Christmas on Misty Island.
Wow.
And stuff. So
well, in a way, if you think about it, they did do it right from the start, because the only thing that's been changed at the end of the episode is Ferdinand's Christmas tree. That's the only thing.
That was the best part.
Exactly, that's the best part. Like, I still don't understand. Those two cranes exploded, throwing baubles and shit everywhere. And at the end of the episode, apparently everyone is helped to make it better, but the only thing they've done is put the decorations back on the cranes. Put the decorations back on the cranes and change out the Christmas tree with an actual tree instead of a log. Which sucks, but it's like, why?
Yeah, this is also one of the episodes that was redubbed for the UK release, replacing winter holidays with Christmas holidays.
Why am I not surprised? Also, you just mentioned that it's them figuring out how to celebrate Christmas. But the thing is, from the start of the episode, they already know what Christmas is. They already know what all the stuff is.
No, they ask like, what's a Christmas holiday party? Or something.
No, but they say, we've never had one of those because we've never had someone to have a party with.
Yeah, they have no friends.
That's right.
But that's what I mean, like, they know about Christmas, but it's the way they celebrate it. And that's the thing that I'm still on about.
They were really racist in these episodes, thinking about it. Poor
Very.
Diesel was annihilated in Merry Misty Island.
Diesel was annihilated in every episode.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Every Diesel. If they would have just brought Dennis, if they would have just brought Dennis back, that would have created a saint.
Speaking of Diesel, let's go on to the next episode, which is about a Diesel, which is Salty. Salty Surprise.
Oh, you want to know something funny about when I watched this episode?
What?
First minute of this episode, I already knew how it was going to end. I already knew. I didn't even have to watch the rest of the episode. I already know what was going to happen. And honestly, it's not too bad. It's bad, but it's not terrible. I like the idea of Edward trying to find a gift for Salty. Someone who doesn't really need that much. They could have toned it back a bit, but yeah, it's the nitrogen era, so yeah.
I mean, I quite enjoy this episode for the nitrogen era standards. I like that we get a little bit of backstory for Salty, like him and his green paint. I find that to be pretty cool. We actually learn a lot about Salty from this episode, and we learn some of his fun adventures and stuff. And I just think that's really neat. Like, we get to see a little bit more of Salty's life. I do think Edward is decently in character, wanting to find a gift for Salty and stuff.
Yeah, but that's just Edward.
This episode...
That's just Edward.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think this story concept was done way better in season 18 with the perfect gift with Percy and Reg. I thought that worked way better. But I think this one is more interesting to talk about because you have Salty's past and backstory. And I really like the ending where Salty reveals that, like, the perfect gift was a story. That's nice. That's a nice Salty little thing.
Yeah, it is. It is smartly written to the nitrogen standard. I'll give whoever... Oh, Sharon Miller. Oh, wait. Did Sharon Miller write this episode? Of course she did. Also, one of my favorite things about the episode, I just love this, was fucking Edward just strolling around with this Christmas tree in his cab.
Yeah.
Like, Imagine his driver and fireman, because he should still have them in there, because it's the nitrogen era. They weren't abolished completely. Imagine them just squashed onto the controls, trying to control Edward. It's
Yeah.
and even at the end of the episode, it's just standing there. Also, the mention of death.
Yeah, that was a little bit insane.
Jesus Christ. Salty just casually explained, being born, being happy, being free, a midlife crisis where you're deteriorating, and then you die. Beautiful episode.
Yeah.
I love this one.
That was a little deep of a story about a Christmas tree, but like, oh well.
Nah,
You didn't have to go that hard, Salty.
Sadly, we didn't. We never got a toy of Salty with the special funnel.
No, but maybe that was the world isn't ready for that yet. That's
I would have loved to own that. It would have sold crazy on eBay. Imagine those prices. Funny funnel Salty.
Yeah, I like how the funny funnel appears in this. That's a nice little funny funnel.
Ooh, a reference to season 13.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one? Ooh, now we get into a fun one. Trying to find my notes. No. Where? Duncan the Humbug.
Yeah.
Easily one of my favorite Christmas episodes.
I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Let me think. Now I have to get my words together. Oh, so much cutting is going to be here. What I love about this episode, and you might not expect this, is how much self-respect Duncan actually has in general. Like,
I agree.
I bet he doesn't hate Christmas. He just hates all of the stuff around it, which is pretty obvious. The fake smiling is beautiful. But from the start, when he hears that he gets a coat of paint, if he's nice, immediately. He is immediately like, yes, I'll be nice the entire day. And even when he fucks up, he's like, oh. He isn't trying to talk himself out of it. No, he actually takes the piss on himself. No, not the piss, that's a different thing. He is actually like, oh, I'm not gonna get it. I failed. This is my wrongdoing. And the fact that he also goes to the controller to admit it, I think that's beautiful writing. I think that's a really good lesson, especially to teach the children, that even if you mess up when you promised, it's not the end of the world. You should just say it, that you were wrong.
Own up to it.
And own up to it. And he gets the paint in the end, so he is happy. Thanks for the reminder, Aeneas. Beautiful line. Yeah.
No, but I really like Duncan in the CGI era. Even though he looks atrocious and I want to throw up every time I look at him. But when I hear his voice, it's really good. Okay.
I really like the CGI model of Duncan as the model on its own, But the scenario it's put in between all these immensely accurate models does not make sense to me. That's the part I don't like. I like the model because it has its own aesthetic, but I don't get why they didn't put the exact same amount of effort into the Duncan model as the rest did, as Nitrogen did for the rest.
Well, because it wasn't Nitrogen, and I think season 18 was a little bit rushed.
Yeah, okay. Well, still, Mattel has all the models, has Duncan's models in their archive. Just take the model out, take a few pictures, send it to ARC, and they can make an accurate model. They don't have to go to the Taliclin Railway. They don't have to. No, but I'm saying they don't have to, because Duncan's model is already decently accurate. You can just take that one as a base, add the extra details, and it would have looked way better in that scenario.
Well, I think ARC just fucked up.
Everybody has a fuck up
have you seen how they made
sometimes.
Oliver? Have you seen Oliver?
Wow, when I was rewatching these episodes, Jesus, especially the Nitrogen era episodes, I realized how small Thomas actually is. Like, they were not good at scaling in the CGI era. Oh my god. It was really bad.
This is the first episode where Luke isn't working at the Blue Mountain Quarry.
Yeah, I read that as well. Which is fascinating. And then he got his own episode where he goes to work at Ofsted, which is fun.
That was before. Anyway, next up we have, for season 18, we have another one, which is Long Lost Friend. Now, this is a really sweet episode and a really nice sequel to Tale of the Brave. I do like the fact that the entire day, Percy thinks that Gator doesn't want to see him, and Gator thinks that Percy doesn't want to see him, and then they just go around Sodor on this cat and mouse chase, trying to find each other. Even though it's more like a mouse and mouse chase, but oh well.
Yeah. I love what I also love about this episode is not just Gator and Percy's friendship. It also shows how good of a friend, at least in the CGI series, Thomas and Percy are. Because if this episode would have been written in the Hit era or the Nitrogen era, Thomas would have been pissed at Gator. He would not like Gator for being back. Oh, he's stealing my best friend. But no, here Thomas is like, oh, Gator, you're back. Oh, thank God. Yeah, Percy's looking for you. I think it's beautiful. It really shows. Like, Thomas knows Percy would be so sorry. Thomas knows Percy will be ecstatic to see Gator again, and that also shows why they are very good best friends.
Yeah, and I think that's because of Tale of the Brave. I think Thomas and Percy really grew after Tale of the Brave, and became way better and more healthy friends after that. But yeah, I really like this episode. I think it's really sweet, and I like the ending where the sandbags and Gator and stuff, which kind of imitates the first time they met in Tale of the Brave. So that's really cool.
Oh, I didn't even remember that, but that's really cute. That's really cute.
Yeah. I also like the visuals of this episode. I think they're neat. And I especially like the ending sequence when it's all foggy at the docks and stuff. I think that looks really nice. And
it's
also
just
the
a good
mist.
Episode. The mist.
The fact that the cargo is supposed to be delivered at the docks is kind of funny. So Gator went all around, and it was supposed to be at the docks.
Also the joke where Thomas is like, "What are you gonna deliver, Percy? Percy, me."
Yeah, that's a really sweet line. But overall, I really liked this episode. I thought it was nice.
It's really good. It's also one of my favorites.
Alright,
we are skimming through these quicker than I expected.
Yeah. We don't have to... Not every podcast needs to be 2 hours long.
That is true. Well, if we get to another character podcast, oh boy. Oh boy. Man. Well, next up... Do you want to start with this one? Because I remember you really having a lot to say about this one. Well,
I don't have a lot to say, but I do really like this episode, and that is A Cranky Christmas. Now, this one I have a lot of nostalgia for, because I used to watch it a lot when I was younger. And, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I really like about this episode. For one thing, Cranky is perfect in this episode. I think it's a really... Like, the type of mistake that he makes is a mistake that I can only really see him making. One, because it's kind of hard for an engine to break a cargo without it being obvious.
Yeah.
But two, I think Cranky works really well in this story. And I think we see a side of Cranky that we don't see that often. It's like insecure side, which I think is a really neat side. And the fact that he tries to hide the crate and stuff. But another really good thing about this episode is Thomas and Edward's dynamic. Yeah. Like how Edward tries to warn Thomas about using his sandboxes and stuff. And I honestly think this is a really good sequel to The Adventure Begins, especially with their dynamic. The entirety of season 19, really, every Thomas and Edward moment in that season is a really nice sequel to The Adventure Begins. So I honestly really, really liked this episode. I think the ice ring at the Tidmouth Town Square honestly, I just really like the animation in this episode and some of the visuals. And I like how it was skates that they were carrying the entire time. So really nothing was broken. But it's understandable why Cranky would think so. So,
Yeah, well,
any thoughts?
I really noticed that starting with season 19 onwards, I realized they really started knowing how to write for these characters and these episodes.
Yeah.
And the animation really started popping after season 19. Like 18 and 17, they are pretty good, but you can really still tell that they are very much experimenting with what they can do with this medium and what stories they can tell, especially because they kind of have to fix what the nitrogen era abolished. So it's really nice to see that they actually got got something good going. And yeah, one scene I also really like is the scene where, with Edward and the sand. It's just a good episode. Almost all of these episodes are good, so
Yeah. No, I agree.
yeah.
And I really like the mayor in this episode. We don't see the mayor a lot, but I like whenever he appears. I think the mayor is a cool character.
Also, Salty is decorated.
Yeah, I just think that's just
I like
a
that
salty thing
detail.
that Salty does.
It's casually decorated. Well, I don't have anything else to say for this episode. I didn't already have a lot to say because most of what I wanted to say you already said.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one.
Now this one is one that I know you have been watching.
I've been watching this one, definitely. I had never watched this episode. I haven't watched a lot of these episodes before, but this one I have genuinely never watched. And after watching it, I will say, I really like it. It's amazing. I think how they executed it is really good, really funny. And overall, especially as a Christmas Diesel episode, perfect. And I like the fact that Diesel says humbug. I don't know.
Of course you would.
Of course I would. One thing I do not like in this episode, and is how childish the Fat Controller really is. Like even compared to, I get it because they did this a lot in the arc seasons, but especially in this episode, they take it to the extreme, and even to the point like he's the controller of the railway. He doesn't have alternative transport to take him to the docks. He had to get onto Thomas, or there was no way for him to get there. That just doesn't make sense to me. But I get why they had to. Also, when Diesel crashes, when he gets put on the line, it's like nothing ever happened to him.
Well, it's snow, so
Still, but I know that's also an arc thing. To just crash.
In the arc seasons, the engines would derail all the time and it would be fine either way. That's just a thing you gotta get used to.
Also, Paxton breaking the fourth wall. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, the arc seasons did that a lot, but I personally really liked this story, and I think it's a really solid Diesel story.
Yeah.
If Diesel was nice for the rest of the show after this, I wouldn't be complaining. I think it would be a natural evolution of his character. But obviously, I don't think this sticks. But I do think every Christmas or so, he's a little bit nicer, just because of the events of this.
Also, I love that they show a bit of Salty and Cranky's friendship in this episode as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can really see that out of all the engines, Cranky really, really likes Salty, even though he doesn't show it that often. I would go so far as to say Salty is Cranky's best friend.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really liked...
and the dark atmosphere is just beautiful also.
Anything else you have to say about Diesel's Ghostly Christmas?
No, not really. I noticed that the snowman model from what was that episode called again? Something like Emily and the Christmas train.
Oh, Emily's winter holiday party
Emily's
special.
winter holiday party special. Is that Emily's winter party special? Yes. Yeah. I noticed that they reused the same snowman model from that episode.
Wow.
Yeah, I noticed these things. Also, Whiff. Whiff. I was so happy to see Whiff. That was beautiful. 10 out of 10 acting.
Utilized with pretty good in this special.
Yeah. He's just a nice guy who works at the dump. That's Whiff.
Yeah. Anyway, on to our final episode of this little episode of the Steambudds podcast.
Yes.
We have Letters to Santa.
I'm gonna give this one to you, because you were the one who specifically picked this one.
Yeah. No, I think Letters to Santa really embodies the entire Christmas spirit, about how you should just let your petty rivalries just ignore your petty rivalries for one little holiday and just be friends. And I think you can't explain or tell that message in a better way than with Percy and Harold. I honestly really like the dynamic between Percy and Harold, because Harold tries to help Percy, but he's a little bit like, not narcissistic, but he's a little bit condescending in the way that he talks to Percy, just because Harold knows that he's like better than Percy because he's a helicopter, but he still respects and cares about Percy. But whenever he tries to say that, it kind of sounds wrong, and it kind of sounds like he's being mean and teasing him, and Percy completely misinterprets what Harold is saying. And I really like that. And I really like how Percy is forced to give Harold the mail and actually accept the Harold's help. But then, when the Harold is missing and Percy goes to look for him, Percy just abandons everything to go look for his friend, because even though they do have a rivalry, they are still friends. And I honestly think that's really sweet, and I think that embodies the Christmas spirit.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that they made an entire deal about Thomas, an entire movie about Thomas going to the mainland. Ooh, scary, big. Percy just crosses the bridge to find Harold. Just no context, no nothing. He just goes there and is like, Harold, are you okay? Yeah, I lost my I forgot to check my fuel.
Well, I think Percy is just so used to going to the mainland and stuff, because he used to deliver stone to Barrow. And I don't think Harold was really... I don't think Harold was that far into the mainland. I think he was just over the bridge and just
he
to a
was.
little countryside.
Still, but Percy didn't know that.
No, he didn't.
Percy would have gone to the other side of fucking Britain. He would have gone to the EU if he had to.
Percy didn't know where Harold was, so when he was going over that bridge, he was fully prepared to just search the entirety of England for him.
And further, if he had to, or he would have sent a search party.
I'm gonna go to the Solar Search and Rescue Center and send their helicopter to look for him. Oh wait, the helicopter is the one who's missing. I guess we're just fucked.
Yeah. Also, the 2D animation, I really like that in the later arc seasons they started mixing different things. Like, I know we're not talking about this episode, but in Terrence Breaks the Ice, there's this quick 2D bubble animation of the Fat Controller and the Earl, where the Fat Controller is scared that the Earl will be disappointed about the Christmas tree. And I really love that they started experimenting with this. It's just tiny details, which is just really nice. And of course, Truckmaster Jeremy appeared.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't have anything more to say about that episode. Do you have anything to say?
No, I just really, really like it. I like the callbacks. I think it's a fantastic Percy and Harold, a friendship and Christmas episode. And I think it's a perfect one to end this on. Unless you have any honorable mentions, of course.
No, I do want to give a shout out to Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree. I think that one is a really nice episode. and I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I don't think it's worth dedicating a whole part of this podcast to discussing. I just think it's a really nice episode.
I'm going to give a shout out to, which one was it? The crash scene in Keeping Up with James, the modeling, and especially what they did with the Edwards braking. That's probably one of my favorite model shots that's ever been filmed. The way Edward's side rods just bounce back to show that he is actually braking. I don't know how they did it, but it was executed wonderfully.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Sir Topham in Salty Surprise for just casually walking in a Santa costume.
I mean, the Fat Control is so used to... Wait, how do we know that was the Fat Control? What if it was Santa Claus just
good point,
walking in?
actually. Good point. Also, wait, Santa is canon, which we've seen in the Last Train
Santa has
for
appeared
Christmas.
multiple times in Thomas. He
He
appeared in Last Train for Christmas. He appeared in Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree. Santa just exists, and I think that's to uphold the roots of being like from a Christian property. I know Santa isn't like Christian, but like, you know.
Yeah. And I think I have one more shout out to give before we end this episode.
Alright.
Shout out to Boko for being in the Christmas episode. In Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree.
Yeah, that's
shout out to
Christmas. Boko. Shout out to Boko, and without further ado, I've been End of Your Films.
And I've been Thomas and James, and this has been the Steambudds podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Wow.
Bye.
Goodbye.